I was going to have somebody else in this conversation or have their points, but I also just heard them say that they didn't like Black and White and they don't prefer to go back to it. So I don't even know if their opinion's valid anymore. To be perfectly honest, I did not know they had these dastardly trash. But half of this is going to be my opinion and the other half's going to be from somebody else. But other than that, travesty. We're mostly on the same consensus. But hi guys, it's Luna. Today, if you didn't realize, we're talking about Pokemon. Now, I'm gonna be quite honest with you. Even though I'm talking about Pokemon, I wasn't all that into Pokemon, nor am I really like a fan. I just like the games because they're genuinely do nothing games for me. Like, I can just play them and then finish them and be like, okay, that distracted me. That's kind of how I felt. Kind of still how I still feel. I was more into Digimon. I feel like Digimon was better. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. Pokemon is just Ash for 22 seasons. You know what I mean? Like, I have not 102 seasons. You get bored a little bit after a while. But I feel like with the change in Digimon, it just was a lot better. That's a theme song. It's just like, you could crip walk to it. Like, I just, you know what I mean? Don't bring up gang signs, the whole thing. Like, it's just me that feels that way. I love it so much. But I did want to talk to you guys about the most recent game. What was it called? Scarlet and Violet. Because I don't know what with this, I think GTA remastered from what I heard, and like Cyberpunk and so many games where like, are companies just giving up? Are they just like, you idiots will buy anything. If we have to put out refunds, I guess we'll give them to you, but we're not going to announce it. We're just going to like give it out slowly to the people who really care. The rest of you are going to eat these $60. Like, why? Yeah. I swear there's been this trend of people just literally throwing out almost unfinished games, and honestly, Scarlet and Violet are that. I saw a TikTok, which I'll probably insert somewhere in here, of just somebody being like, this is what I thought it was going to be, and that's what I thought it was going to be. That's what I thought this and Arceus was going to be. They were not that. They were just like, no. Everything, all your expectations, set to 0, because that's where it's going to be, underneath that, the earth, in the negatives. At this point, we're fractions. That's how much you're going to hate this. This is not like a side company. This is fucking Nintendo, bro. They have so much money. They have so much money to the point where one of the directs was just farm simulators. They don't care. They don't care. So why there's this unfinished piece of shit that is $60-something that they like, are they trying to take out patches? Even with that, like, it feels like a scam. I feel like they scam people. I'm sorry, I feel like they scam people. This is not a new, fresh topic of conversation. I just had to talk about it because I'm not gonna lie. There was one reason I bought this game. The duck. I saw him and I was like, I have to have it now. Solely so I can see the duck, prepare for it, name it, grow it, have it be my baby, and keep it forever. That was all I wanted. To the fact that you get a legendary Pokemon just off the bat, there's no reason. There's no real reason it should like you, but it's gonna. Oh, I'm sorry. You give it a sandwich. Actually, if you want to catch all the Pokemon in this game, just give them sandwiches, because that's apparently all it takes. Of like, now you get to ride me, have me. You don't get to use me. I'm gonna be a battling Pokemon, but you get to just basically put me in and out of this Pokeball whenever you feel like it. I don't understand. If we could use it as a fucking Yoshi this entire time, at that point, just let me use it. Like, at that point, that should be my other Pokemon. That should be like a specialty Pokemon I get to use if my life is low and I hit a critical 5 times in a row or some shit. Because at this point, it was... Sorry, I had to take a break for a second. In general, I do have a bit of a beef with the Pokemon franchise in general. Again, they're very much like, they're not terrible games as like a game. They're terrible games for me as like something to be super crazy about. I will never say I like, the Digimon games were better. Now that can be laughed out the fandom. They're not better as games that exist. But like, in general, I like Digimon better because it's not just catch Pokemon, revive them, breed, and there's something else on my mind, but let me finish my thought. It's not just this repetitive process, and that's kind of what Pokemon always was to me. Now, I played Black and White for like one of my first Pokemon games. I've played another ones and some bootlegs, but my point is, I played Black and White and I was like, okay, so this game isn't intolerable, but it's just something that makes my brain go boof, so I can just turn it off and it's just buzz for the rest of the time. But it's still somewhat entertaining to where I'd be like, ah, damn, it died. I wonder if they're getting Taco Bell for dinner. And that's how my brain kind of works with it. It's nothing special, but it's something that I feel shouldn't be this glitchy, unfinished mess, and people should be paying $60 for it. I don't feel like you guys, like it's that bad to where you guys just deserve that. I don't think that. But on top of that, I learned something new. This is something as a casual Pokemon player, I didn't know this existed until this game, and it made me see a whole different side of this. That's just like, y'all are on a different level. This is something, I don't know, I'm comfortable with Pokemon people anyway, right? So one of my friends, he likes Pokemon. I have two friends like my ex like Pokemon. A lot of people in my life like Pokemon. This one specifically liked Pokemon, but he likes the battling side of them. Now, me personally, what? I didn't know what he meant. I'm like, oh, okay, it's just like, battling the people who do like, was it like the gym leaders and shit, just actual people. That's okay, that's fun. I gotta look it up, cause I need to be real specific with this, because mess. This man told me mess. He tried very hard to explain to me what EVs and IVs were. And if you just, something sparked in you, or you were just like, oh, okay, when I said that and you know what it is, you're one of them. You're one of the monsters and you need to go get help for your problem. And if you don't know what that is, thankfully, like you were one of me who was ignorant, don't look it up. Don't look up videos. Don't look up people explaining it. When I saw that this man was doing, he told me he was doing research and math. And I was just like, oh, so there's Pokemon, and then there's this like adult league. It's like people who play Smash and people who play Smash. Okay, I see what you're saying. Freaks. I'm not judging you guys. It got math involved. I don't know. Even with Smash players, I get like really into it. My cousins and shit did that. I just looked at them like, you're training for the Olympics here. And I get being into video games. If you want to be an esports player, that's great. But if you're like casually in your house and you're training as if it's the Olympics and you're doing math and equations and research and whatnot, I just don't understand that level of gaming, low key. And it seems interesting to look into, but it's scary. But in general, I feel like, no, since Sword and Shield, I feel like people have been feeling a bit iffy about the Pokemon series lately, but I can see it. Like, you can see in the fandoms and things like that. Also, can we talk about the character designs for like a second? They're running out of ideas, and I think at this point we should just accept it. Like, they're not even hiding it before. You know what I mean? Like with Squirtle and stuff like that, like they're kind of hiding it. You might have something like not a Pichu, but Pachirisu or a Pichu or a you know what I mean? Like these few and far between Pokemon who are like Aipom, you know what I mean? That's obviously a monkey. But a lot of the Pokemon were like unique, like they're just taking animals. Like straight up just taking animals and not even really altering their designs. Like there should never be any type of other bird Pokemon. It shouldn't really exist. I've seen like 40. I feel like I've seen like 40. I feel like another bird Pokemon should not exist. Another dog Pokemon should not exist. Bear looking Pokemon shouldn't exist. Like even like their evolved forms aren't really that far off of their original forms. It's just like they're not really getting interesting looking. And even when they are like different, it doesn't feel cohesive to the Pokemon. It doesn't feel like, and sometimes it kind of explains in the Pokedex, but nowadays, even the Pokedexes are really like weak. It's like, this is a cinnamon roll dog. It feels like dough. Yeah, it's Pokedex, right? And everything doesn't have to be great, don't get me wrong. Every Pokedex doesn't have to be like the most intricate thing. It's getting to the point of like, I don't care anymore. I remember I used to like reading Pokedex entries, even if they're little cute, dumb ones. But it just feels like that's all of them. Like a handful of them are like really interesting. And so just like, it feels like they're just creating for the sake of creating. Bro, I never liked the Pokemon stories. I never played the game for the stories. I didn't care. I skipped the dialogue. I don't know what's happening half the time. I do not care. I never have cared. I didn't like some Pokemon like that. But this story, listen, okay, the designs for the actual gym leaders and the people, I feel like it's getting better. I want her on a shirt. I want her everywhere in my room. I love her. But the story is just really boring. Like, I can't, it's so much talking. It's so much talking about nothing. That's one thing I hate about that game, was that people will just go on and on and on and on and never get to the fucking point. It's like, it's not even like having a conversation with somebody. Like, you're having orientation. You know when they have to talk about everything just because they just need to get it out of the way? It feels like every conversation is like that. It's never just like, hey, you're a fucking dick. Da-da-da. Let's battle. Ah, I can't believe this. You guys are assholes. It's like a whole back and forth conversation for 7 hours. Shut the fuck up. I hate it. No, but just tell us, Nintendo, did you blow all your money on Bayonetta? Are you blowing all your money on, like, the new Mario that we don't know what's going on? Did you blow all your money on the movie? Is that what's happening? Like, why did you come out with this unfinished thing? Or, like, the people who are working at Nintendo, like, sweatshop workers? Like, explain why this occurred. Because the amount of times I've glitched through places, fell over stuff, drowned but not drowned, and the fact that I can Skyrim up mountains with my legendary I got at the beginning, I feel like I have the right to complain. But yeah, you guys will probably never really hear me talk about Pokemon ever again. This game was just so, yeah.